In an operation that stunned communities across Southern California, ICE agents carried out surprise raids on multiple car washes, detaining workers and triggering heated public backlash. Videos show agents swarming businesses in cities like Fountain Valley, Bell, and Maywood, with some arrests caught on camera as bystanders looked on in disbelief. According to immigrant rights groups, at least 22 individuals have already been detained, and that number may rise. DHS officials claim the operations are part of a broader effort to target unauthorized employment and identify individuals with criminal records or prior removal orders. In this video, we'll break down the ICE enforcement strategy, look at how many people have been deported so far, and examine the growing tension between federal authorities and local communities. We'll also explore what these actions mean for low-wage industries across California and what might come next. Between June 9th and June 20th, 2025, ICE and DHS agents carried out coordinated operations at multiple hand wash and detailing businesses across Los Angeles and Orange counties. According to the Clean Car Wash Worker Center, at least 22 workers from 6 car washes were detained during the first weekend of the campaign. On June 11th, Magnolia Car Wash in Fountain Valley saw 7 employees taken into custody, as eyewitnesses described agents in unmarked vehicles showing up at around 9:30 a.m. A few days later, in Bell and Maywood on June 20th, federal agents detained at least 3 people at Jack's Car Wash and a neighboring business, sparking tense protests as masked officers tackled workers and Border Patrol vehicles were damaged. The Department of Homeland Security, defending its tactics, confirmed that during the Bell and Maywood actions, Border Patrol vehicles were rammed and tires slashed, and those responsible were arrested. Meanwhile, families gathered in Culver City on June 11th, pleading for custody information about detained loved ones. Clean Car Wash Worker Center Executive Director Flor Melendrez described ICE's actions as cruelly targeting our city's industries where workers are most vulnerable. In a separate incident in Torrance, tensions flared during what appeared to be an immigration inspection outside a local car wash. Video footage from the scene shows a group of plainclothes officers surrounding a man near a vehicle as bystanders begin recording and demanding answers. A woman on site was captured on video confronting the officers, repeatedly demanding identification and accusing them of attempting to detain a man without due process.
Okay, you need to identify yourselves. You need to identify yourselves. No, you need to identify yourselves. This is kidnap. This is kidnap.
This is an immigration inspection.
Can I see your badge, please?
My badge is right here.
No, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's right there.
No, I need to see it. No, this is kidnap.
Listen.
This is kidnap.
No.
This is kidnap.
This is an immigration inspection.
This is a
You
kidnap.
can record all you want. Just please stay out of the way so you're safe, okay?
I am staying out of the way, but it is also my right to record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite the confusion, no arrests were ultimately made in the Torrance operation. Officers at the scene told onlookers it was an immigration inspection and displayed badges when challenged. Still, the lack of clear uniforms and unmarked vehicles fueled public suspicion, with the woman accusing them of racial profiling and acting like bounty hunters. While ICE has not disclosed how many businesses are under investigation, labor experts estimate that thousands of undocumented immigrants work in California's car wash industry. According to the UCLA Labor Center, as many as 60% to 70% of car wash workers in Los Angeles County alone may be undocumented, with many lacking formal contracts, workplace protections, or proper authorization to work in the U.S. A 2022 report by the California Labor Commissioner's Office found that wage theft, unsafe conditions, and immigration-related threats were common in the sector. Advocacy groups say this makes car washes a frequent target for immigration enforcement, especially under operations focused on employer audits and document fraud. ICE has described such actions as part of a broader strategy to ensure lawful employment practices, but critics argue that the agency disproportionately targets vulnerable low-wage industries rather than pursuing employers who exploit undocumented labor. Over the past week, deportation efforts have ramped up sharply, particularly in California where federal enforcement intensified. Nationwide, immigration authorities have been targeting both criminal and non-criminal individuals under expanded expedited removal powers. Between January 22 and 28, 2025, ICE reported 5,537 migrants detained, including 2,373 from the U.S. interior, with roughly 4,094 deportees returned to Mexico in that single week, reflecting the depth of enforcement activity in the region. In the week following mid-June raids across Los Angeles, at least 44 people were administratively arrested on June 6, including workplace and public site sweeps, with 118 undocumented immigrants detained by June 7 across the county. DHS data reveals ICE's detention centers were operating at 109% capacity as of early February, housing approximately 42,000 detainees, many awaiting removal, underscoring the pressure on resources and the momentum of removals. While exact California deportation totals for the last week are not separately disclosed, these figures illustrate a clear surge. Interior detentions in Southern California, paired with nationwide repatriation flights and expedited removal execution, signal that hundreds to potentially over 1,000 deportations originating from California occurred during that period. At the same time, Fox News reported that President Trump ordered ICE to expand efforts to detain and deport undocumented immigrants in major cities, including Los Angeles, signaling the launch of what Fox described as the largest mass deportation operation in history. The response from state and local authorities in California was swift and critical. Several lawmakers, including members of the California State Assembly and Los Angeles City Council, condemned the ICE operations as unnecessary escalations that undermine trust between immigrant communities and law enforcement. California Attorney General Rob Bonta reiterated that the state does not cooperate with indiscriminate federal immigration enforcement and urged anyone impacted by the raids to seek legal help through state-funded programs. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass also expressed concern, stating that aggressive federal actions without local coordination create fear and instability. The ICE raids in California drew fierce and deeply divided reactions from the public. Supporters of the enforcement actions argued that the government was finally taking long overdue steps to uphold immigration law, protect American jobs, and hold employers accountable for hiring undocumented workers. Many praised the raids as necessary for national security and shared sentiments like, "If you're here illegally, you shouldn't be working here," emphasizing a belief in law and order. On the other hand, critics condemned the raids as cruel, unnecessary, and politically motivated. They argued that targeting low-wage workers only deepens fear in immigrant communities and tears families apart without addressing root causes. Some called the actions state-sanctioned harassment, while others expressed outrage that vulnerable people were being detained. The recent enforcement actions have reignited fears across low-wage industries throughout California, where undocumented labor is often concentrated. Sectors such as agriculture, food processing, car washes, construction, and garment manufacturing rely heavily on immigrant workers, many of whom lack legal status or work under informal arrangements. Labor advocates warn that ICE's focus on visible service-based workplaces like car washes could soon expand to other industries seen as vulnerable. Groups such as the California Immigrant Policy Center argue that these crackdowns do little to hold employers accountable and instead push undocumented workers further into the shadows, where they're more susceptible to wage theft and unsafe conditions. With federal authorities signaling more operations ahead, questions now loom over how deep the enforcement will go, whether employer audits will become more common, and how California's sanctuary policies will be tested in industries that form the backbone of its informal economy. If you found this video informative, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on immigration, enforcement actions, and U.S. policy changes. And don't forget to tell us, What do you think about these ongoing deportation operations? Do you support them as a necessary step towards stronger border control, or do you believe they go too far and affect the wrong people? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.